Hi guys, welcome back to the Beyond the Strategy podcast. So, unfortunately or fortunately, this is our season finale. Woo! I hope you've enjoyed this podcast as much as I did, as much as the crew and I did whilst, recording and working on this. So this is the last episode of season 1. Now, what does this mean? This means that we are going to have very exciting guests very soon, starting with season 2, episode 1. You'll find out very soon the guests that are coming on this podcast. But like I said, this podcast is to help us navigate conversations, and I cannot have these conversations alone. So I'm bringing people for us to talk about different things, different, conversations that will leave you inspired, hopeful, and gingered to do life better. So on this episode, I really want to touch on something that has been quite predominant in conversations these days. And I would be doing you a disservice if I do not talk about this. So if you've paid attention to my story, the God factor has been running through almost everything that I have achieved as an individual. My achievements heightened when I decided to become closer or walk closer with God. However, I think a lot of people are misunderstanding a few things, right? So I got a message from somebody that said, my business is stressing me out, everything is slow, my sales are slow, I pray, I pay my tithe, so I don't know what could be going wrong. I took a look at her page, and this is a person who is not new to me. But if you're listening to this podcast, this is not me exposing you or me calling you out or anything. This is just coming from a place of love. But in life, everything has to do with principles, right? You cannot apply principles and expect to see results. The Holy Spirit would help you. Being spiritual would help you. It will push you ahead of the curve. But if you do not apply the principles of running a business, Habibi, it will not work. And you will be blaming God for your problems when God has already made provision for you. So I'm saying when God has already made provision for you because for one of my classes, which is the casual season workshop, my best products, like if anybody asked me that what is that one product you recommend, like you can walai talai you can swear on that it will work, it's the casual season workshop. A few people got sponsored for this workshop. I won't tell which year or which batch, but a few people got sponsored, and this person happened to be one of the people who got sponsored to be in the class, so fully paid for. But the person did not implement the principles. The recordings have been made available to you, but you've not implemented what you're supposed to implement to generate the revenue. Doing business requires, first of all, discipline. Doing business requires obeying or respecting the rules governing a business. If there's no traffic coming into your business, you most likely will not see sales. Because then who is seeing your business? Your business is not visible. Who is seeing you to patronize you, right? So the fact that you've sown seeds, the fact that you pay your tithe even when you're broke, the fact that you go to church, the fact that you fast, the fact that you study the word is not enough for you to grow the business. The economy alone will shake you to sit up. Do you understand? Like, you cannot say you are praying so the exchange rate would stabilize. God can do his bit, but there's also the bit of the economists for them to do a few things for the, for the inflation to be. I'll leave that for the economists to talk about. But please don't make the mistake of thinking that you can fold your arms and watch magic happen in your business just because you're a good Christian. So I had somebody who also said, because you said, you tied your revenue to a kingdom agenda and it worked for me. Like, I tied my revenue to a kingdom agenda and it worked for me. They were also going to do that. Everybody's journey is different. That's the first thing. I specifically heard it from God on what to do. So let me just tell you the reality of this. You most likely will do this and you will not see the results you desire, and you'll be very angry with God that why is God doing this? But God did not ask you to give your 10% to the children's ministry. Do you get what I mean? So in all of these things, it's very important, it's very crucial that build your relationship with God, build your personal relationship with God. He will talk to you, he will direct you, he will give you creative ways to be dominant in your market. The second thing is you need to learn how to run a business. Do you understand? If all the richest people in the world, in fact, a lot of the rich people in the world do not acknowledge God. They work purely based on the principles governing life, right? There are principles in life that you need, like there's the law of attraction and all of those things that is helping them excel. Your advantage is that you are connected to the Creator. So imagine that your faith is up there and then you are not doing the work. The person who is doing the work has an advantage over you. The person who is doing the work without the faith has an advantage over you, because no matter what you do, the work will bring results. If done well and if done right, it will bring results. So you that has the faith, has the supreme being, and has the work, obviously would have a competitive edge over the other person. So you cannot work your faith without doing the work. You cannot sit there and fold your arms without doing the work. Growing a business is based on strategy. If you do not understand the strategy, it's not going to work. In everything, you have to give it time. Give things time. In one of the emails that I sent to my community, I spoke about this. Give it time. Whatever you do, when you give it time and consistency, you see a difference. So don't start now and automatically want to see results. It's not magic, right? We are not doing magic here. You are working principles, and principles require time. Spaced repetition over time, and that's consistency. Spaced repetition over time. So you cannot do spaced repetition in a limited time. You need to do it over time to see the kind of results that you want to see. You need to be patient. Entrepreneurship will test you. Being a Christian, you'll be tested even twice as hard. Do you understand? Being a Christian does not mean that your life automatically will become a soft life. Being a Christian means that there's going to be the chaos, but there's also the God that gives you joy in chaos. Right? There's also the God that gives you peace in the storm. It does not mean that when the economic situation of the country is hard, you alone will not experience it. But there's the element of grace that can cushion you from certain things. There's the element of grace that probably will keep your mental state in check. Because for some of the things that entrepreneurs go through, you can lose your mind. One business owner who had been so good to her entrepreneurs, her employees, takes them on international trips at the end of the year, found out that they stole a hefty amount of money from her, 5 figures. I don't remember the exact amount. You can lose your mind because it's not just them stealing from you, it is betrayal at its highest peak. So with such things, you need God to anchor your boat. If not, dear, you can go mad. Also, when you find yourself in a difficult situation, it's easy for you to forget the other wins. It's easy for you to forget the rainbow. It's easy for you to forget the sunny days. It's easy for you to forget when the sun was out and bright. It's very easy. So I'm going to urge you to, one of the things that's helped me is keeping a prayer journal. I talk to God about everything. And sometimes praying into the air, it's great. Not even sometimes, it's very good to pray into the air, speak into existence. But one of the things that have anchored me is opening my prayer journal and seeing something I cried about to God that I had come out of. You know, seeing something that I asked God for and he made me get it. That strengthens my faith because I know that he's done it once, he's done it twice, he's done it 3 times. So he can do it again. So as an entrepreneur, it's very easy for you to lose sight of your past glory, right? It's not always going to be rosy. Entrepreneurship is an ebb and flow. It's great and then it dips. You get major wins and then it dips. Sometimes you say that you want to quit. Sometimes clients will talk to you in such a way and you're like, do you even know who I am for you to talk to me this way? Very valid. But those are just temporary things. Like every other thing, give it time. It will pass. Pray, but also expect help in whatever area. So one thing that I'm going to leave with you is that when your baby is ill, or when you have a baby, you don't just pray and watch your baby grow. When you give birth to the baby, or you know somebody who had a baby, once they came from the hospital, she put the baby in the couch and started kabashing and kabashing. Wakes up in the morning, will pray 12 hours on the baby. No feeding, no nothing. What would happen to that baby? The baby will not survive. I don't think the baby would even survive 3 days. There's the element of prayer, but there's also what you need to do to watch the baby grow in a healthy form, which means that feeding the baby, if it's 2 hours intermittently, 1 hour, you know, if it's taking them to the hospital for their shots and all of those things, you make active decisions or you take action to ensure that your baby is fine. It's the same with your business. Your business is your baby. Praying on it alone will not survive. It will not survive just by prayer. So from today, I want you to look at your business like a baby that you are nurturing to grow. Commit all your energy into ensuring that this baby grows. You will not leave your baby to do things, to make decisions by themselves. Like sometimes you want to feed your baby, he doesn't want to eat, but you force him to eat because you know the relevance of his eating. You know what will happen if he doesn't eat. So you catch him, put his hand in your armpits and force him to feed him just because he needs the nutrients. That's the same thing that you need to do. And sometimes you are the baby. You, the business owner, are the baby. You need somebody to catch you to do the things you need to do, right? You need guidance. You need somebody to show you the ropes. Alrighty. Okay, so thank you so much for allowing me to be in your ears for the last few weeks, for the last few months. Kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. Please, even if you're not watching on YouTube, please go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Support our small ministry. Kindly leave a review if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcast. I would appreciate that. I'm very excited for you to hear the people that I'm having conversations with, and you may never know, you could be the next person in my seat. What do you think about that? So yeah, I'll see you in season 2. Until then, peace and love.